Welcome to the Human Nature Channel. I'm your host, Alex Tamsula, also known as Daddy Baby on Twitter. And what am I doing here? Well, I'm here to tell you about the day I had yesterday. It wasn't a bad day, but oh my goodness, was it busy. It starts off with me finding out that my refrigerator is malfunctioning, which is funny because the freezer part still works fine. There's still cubes in the ice tray, there's still frozen food, but if you go down into the body of the refrigerator proper, it just isn't cool anymore. So I'm going to have to get on the phone and call the landlord and get that taken care of. The second problem was I noticed a molar is falling apart. And I made an appointment with the dentist to get that taken care of. I got my stimulus check and I cashed that. That was pretty good. It's going to pay for that trip to the dentist. But that was all whirling around the major action, which was me working on this video, right? And you'll see it at the end of this yak. It's an experimental video. I'm not even in it. But I had this idea. I said, okay, I want to try this out, and I ran with it. Little did I know what a nightmare this thing was going to turn into. It became very, very involved. It was like laying bathroom tile where the pieces are only this big, right? Oh my goodness. And I'm still also like taking time to move things around in case a new refrigerator gets wheeled in here. By the end of the process, I was almost a madman. But I got it done, and I'll warn you, it might try your patience, or you might find it hysterical. We shall see. But the reason I did this video is because of Meet the Press with Chuck Todd. I watch it every Sunday. I'm a political junkie, okay? I want to hear the establishment point of view for what it's worth, which in my opinion is not much anymore. But my problem is I just don't have much respect for Chuck Todd, even though I put myself through that every Sunday and I'm like looking at him like, oh God. And this goes back to 2016, okay, where the primaries were still happening. It wasn't even a foregone conclusion that Trump was going to get the nomination yet. But there was all that stuff about Hillary Clinton's emails and her server and how it was handled improperly. And so many other people have gone to jail for handling classified material that way. And she gets a pass, and she gets a pass from FBI Director James Comey. Remember that Boy Scout? I can't remember the last time I saw an FBI director come out and have a presser, but he did. And he said, oh yeah, Mrs. Clinton mishandled these documents and this document and these documents, but nothing that comes to the threshold of a prosecutable offense or some bullshit like that. Chuck Todd interviewed FBI Director James Comey, okay? And the subject was Anthony Weiner and his laptop. Now, you remember Weiner, right? This knucklehead who's married to Huma Abedin, who works for this one. So here's Chuck Todd with Comey, and he's there. Well, you have Anthony Weiner's laptop. Is there any connection between it and Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign? And Comey is like, no, we didn't find any connection at all. And I'll never forget this. The camera is on Chuck Todd, right? And he's fond of putting his finger to his lips. And you could almost see him say, he almost said his name. No, Chuck, don't do that. Shh. It's obvious. Is there a connection between Anthony Weiner's laptop and the Hillary Clinton campaign? Yeah, her name is Huma. Oh my goodness. Do you remember Mike Wallace from, back in the 60s, even before that? I mean, he was around for a long time. Mike Wallace would have never let anybody get away with that. Okay, so for a long time, I just had no respect for Chuck Todd whatsoever. And, oh my goodness, since 2016, he's always been a never Trumper, right? It's always been the two valued logic. Me and, well, all the people I know, we're the good guys. Trump and all his supporters, they're the bad guys, right? Where does this guy get his monopoly on virtue? I don't know. And it does get worse, okay? There's only one reason Joe Biden ran for president, and that was to keep Hunter out of the slammer, okay? And I'm not going to go into all the Burisma stuff. Hunter Biden on Pornhub, pictures of him there with this humongous crack pipe hanging out of his mouth. All that on the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, which Chuck Todd, when it came up at all, said, ooh, has all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. And he's basically, the mannequin of, what's that guy's name? Brennan. Yeah, Brennan. Oh, yeah, Russians would do something like that. Well, no, everything on it was, as they said, Hunter left it at a laptop repair store, computer repair store, completely forgot he left it there. It's got all this incriminating stuff, right? Chuck Todd barely mentions it at all. It's just propaganda until the Justice Department says, oh, we're looking into this. And Chuck Todd has to report that. And between you, me, and the lamppost, nothing's going to happen to Hunter Biden, okay? One last thing. I watch NBC News. I don't watch anybody else. But election night, I'm at the farm. I'm at Dad's farm. And I'm watching the election, watching the results. And about 1:30 in the morning, they said, well, down in Atlanta, at the Sears Center, where they're counting votes, they had a water main break. And everybody's going home for the night. And that was the point. I said, well, if that's it, I might as well just go to bed and wake up in the morning and see that President Trump had won. Chuck Todd lied to me, okay? There was never any water main break. When somebody finally gets to the bottom of the story, it was either a leaky commode or a running commode. I'm not exactly sure which, but couldn't have been all that serious, because after everybody was shooed out of the voting counting, we all know people came right back in. So the video you're going to see is from January 10th of Meet the Press. And it was the first Sunday after a bunch of America Firsters stormed the stages of democracy like it was a rock concert, right? And it's amazing. No security, idiotic security on purpose. These guys didn't know what rock and roll promoters have known since the early 60s, that when you start getting big crowds and you have inadequate crowd control, people are going to rush the stage, right? Okay, here comes the video. And whenever I watch Meet the Press anymore, this is all I hear. Enjoy the video. Have a good one.
I want my money.